Welcome everyone to our lunch and learn. Today we're going to be talking about rare earth and technology metals. We're going to talk about how those are a part of our coin shop. We're going to talk about them a little bit in general. We will probably, because this is that lunch and learn format, I don't intend that we'll be here more than about 30 minutes. So if you are joining us for the first time, my name is Shelley Barnaby. And I have a background in both precious metals and in blockchain technology and cryptocurrencies as well for the last 4 years on the blockchain, and for the over 7 years very actively in the precious metals market. And so I'm very excited with our new endeavor where we have partnered with TMN Global and Gion to be part of a project that includes rare earth and technology metals. And if those are new concepts to you, we'll talk briefly today too about Red Cave Oil and Gas. That's a little bit different than the other two companies where we talk about precious metals and rare earth and technology metals. So with that said, why are we talking about that today? Why is this such a big part? You know, if you're part of TMN Global, you're saying, well, TMN is a token, right? We're talking about having a utility token, technology metal network. Right now, that 2 years from now, the big plan is that it grows into a stable coin, and you're hodling that token so that when the stable coin is up and functioning, you can get a portion all the time of the transaction fees from that stable coin. But what I want to talk to you about today is why that stable coin is such a big deal. What makes that special? Why are we talking about having a stable coin that's backed with strategic assets, for example? And a little bit more of what that looks like and how that came into being. This is a true win-win project, right? These three companies that make up Augion, Red Cave Oil and Gas, EM Global, and EMH, those are all highly functioning, profitable. Like to date, they've sold nearly $7 billion worth of investments to individuals, to groups, to businesses. And so they're already growing and healthy and doing well. So why this partnership with TMN Global? Why create this stable coin? I want you to think about it right now in terms of the fact that as they amass their metals, whether it's precious metals on the EM Global side or technology and rare earth metals on the EMH side, right now, any that aren't sold to investors are basically in storage, right? They're in storage until what? Who eventually buys them? Well, they're bought for technology projects, okay? And I want to show you, maybe I won't be able to do that while I have this up. In a little bit, I'll stop this screen share and I'm going to show you another, well, in fact, I'm going to do it right now. I want to show you another article that if you haven't seen it already, in our team Trello page, we have, I put in there already an article that addresses, I just got to find it here, one sec. An article that addresses some of the future potential for these rare earth and technology metals. So let me just, I'll reshare my screen here with you and we'll go over this a little bit. So if you haven't seen it already, this is the article that pulls up from the Trello board, okay? And it's talking a little bit about the long-term outlook, UBS expects demand for neodymium and praseodymium. So that's the US pronunciation. When you have the imium at the end, you can be sure it's just like aluminium. You can know that it's a UK article because they put those endings on the various metals. It just is very indicative of being from the UK. But neodymium and praseodymium to grow by 300% over the next 9 years. Okay, that's a tremendous growth. What is behind that growth? Well, because there's an increasing need and use case for those metals, both in like hybrid and electric vehicles, and definitely in wind turbines too. The whole world globally is under a tremendous amount of pressure to produce more renewable energy, to produce more renewable resources. Right now, that's a pretty expensive endeavor. One of the reasons that we've used oil and gas for as long as we have is because ultimately it's a pretty inexpensive source of energy. And so the increase in technology required for us to move over as cultures into a more sustainable pattern, it's going to take a lot, and it's going to take a lot of these rare earth metals to support and to help us find a process where that can be done in, think back, the way I think about that is, think back to how expensive like the first of something is, whether it was a VCR, a microwave oven, a cell phone. All of those things right out of the gate were highly expensive for people. And so right now, when you're participating in cutting edge technology, that's what you see on the front end, is that there's a huge cost to those things. So as a result of that, we're going to see this huge demand on the front end for some of these rare earth and tech metals. We have a very unique opportunity here because right now, we don't have people that are investing in these metals really in the US. Maybe some individuals that have a large sum of money, we're bringing this type of investment into the mainstream, into the average person having accessibility to it. In fact, what this whole article, if you get a chance to go read it here later on, is one of the things it's talking about is like the Lynas Rare Earth Project and some of these other companies that are about to be, or in some cases they are, publicly traded. So like they're on the NASDAQ, they're part of, so Lynas in particular is one that I'm pretty interested in. A lot of times when we are, it wouldn't be unlike, for example, we love crypto, right? We're lovers of crypto. We're buying crypto coins, we're buying crypto tokens. That's something that we're already doing. Well, there are lots of people who have that. If you believe in crypto, if you have that love of crypto, then when supporting businesses and businesses that support that model become publicly traded, it's not entirely unheard of or an uncommon thing to go buy stock in Binance, CoinMarketCap, in those adjacent businesses. So that particular article is a lot more, yes, it's about the rare earths themselves, but it's also about how to invest in companies that are bringing up rare earths. Okay, well, Augion is a privately held company, so we can't go out and buy stock in the company right now. But what we can do is, in addition to supporting those other companies or thinking about putting our fiat investments in places that support our strategic investments, support our crypto investments, and so on, in addition, we have direct access, which is what I find so amazing. We have that direct access to the metals themselves. So where most people get a chance to look at that, I'm going back to the other one. where most people get a chance to look at participating in stock investments around rare earths. We're cutting out the middleman entirely, and we're bringing you into the opportunity to use the TMN coin shop just to get rare earth themselves. Okay, so you have a couple of options. You can hodl your TMN token, absolutely. And when the stable coin goes live, the stable coin will be backed by these very assets, the precious metals, the rare earth and technology metals. So inadvertently, you kind of own a stake in those by owning TMN token right out of the gate. At the same time, as you realize a gain in your TMN token, you can choose to diversify by buying your own investments in EMH, in EM Global. And there are these investments with just $2,500 worth of your TMN token. You can move into having these precious metals and storing them. And the other thing that's very different about what we're doing here, and I want to be very clear about it. Sorry, I was thirsty. Is oftentimes I have people asking me, hey, I'd like to put my IRA in gold, or I'd like to put my retirement fund in some of these metals, or, well, one of the reasons we have access to real strategic assets. Oftentimes when you see retirement vehicle type investments, they're tied to just a paper, okay? Like somebody will say to me, I have a gold ARA, a gold IRA, or a gold 401k. I've never seen one that actually was. I'm not saying they don't exist. I've never seen one that actually was. And as always, I am not a financial planner. I am not giving you financial advice. I'm reporting my own experience, and I'm giving you the information that I have about our coin shop projects and all of those things. None of this should ever be construed as me giving you financial advice. You have to take responsibility for that yourself, and I'm just sharing information that I have with you. But when it comes to like EMH and EM Global and being part of our coin shop, when you make that investment there, you own the physical metals. Those belong to you. If you wanted to take possession of them, you could. I don't know why you would, because you want to leave them in a place where you have the opportunity when you want to sell. If you're selling at a large gain, you want to leave those in a place where they're stored, where they're easily accessible to the companies that want to buy them. That's the point, is that you have growth in more than one way. By getting your TMN token now, and some of you have even realized now a 10% gain right out of the gate because you just got a bonus. You just got 10% bonus tokens in TMN that are going to be airdropped to you. So if you hold this or hodl this token and it goes up another 50%, 100%, whatever it happens to be, you're going to be able to take that gain and move the gain over into another strategic asset like this. And so that's a great general principle. When you double or triple an investment, pull out the original and move it over to something far more stable, like that protects your asset. There's nothing more stable than gold, silver, and even these rare earths, because they're tangible goods, right? You can touch them. So our coin shop, we're going to be by tomorrow, we're going to be receiving like our little updated timeline for exactly when our TMN coin shop goes live. But this is the use case for our token. So it's really important for us to be thinking about people that we can bring into these type of investments. You have the opportunity as part of the TMN team to bring these investments to people. Even if you have people that have no interest around cryptocurrency, there are lots of people that are looking for a long-term stable home for their increase. Right now, I mean, imagine with the volatility and the constant decrease in purchasing power of fiat currency, particularly the US dollar, if you're somebody that's been accumulating in US dollars all your life, that's a bit terrifying, right? Because now you need a place. I've been reading article after article about the importance of unpegging from the dollar, how to park your assets somewhere else. People are going crazy in the real estate market. They're buying anything that isn't paper dollars. So we right now have a tremendous opportunity to show people how to invest instead in like the premium eco and futures baskets. And what do you see there? You see dysprosium in all three of those baskets. We see neodymium in both the eco basket and the futures basket. Same with the praseodymium. You're seeing those across all three baskets. And those are the ones that they're talking about this major increase. And so these baskets are designed, so some of them are faster growth. They're obviously more around eco and future. And so the gain in all those metals, it's almost like I look at it kind of like the mutual fund of rare earths, right? Like when people invest in a mutual fund, the idea is to take some of the volatility out of the stock market. If one goes very high, and another one goes very low, it sort of balances out. So you can see here, instead of you having to choose just an individual metal that you think will really perform well, you have the opportunity to get into these baskets where they're juggling the baskets around with the opportunity to create for you the best possible return. In fact, last year, one of these baskets performed with a larger than a 40% return. So that's a pretty amazing feat, especially during COVID times, right? Same with EM Global. You can create within EM Global a basket and put different percentages of gold, silver, and platinum and palladium together. So you can pick 25% of each. You're going to be able to do some amazing things in the coin shop there. And that's one of the ways you can diversify your TMN token. So when we're talking about being part of the pre-sale with TMN token, I just want to be really clear that people are understanding all of the ways they can use that TMN token in the future. So why now? Why do you want to get TMN token for this? Maybe you're not ready right this minute. You're still in a growth phase. You might not be ready yet to move into the metals baskets. You still want some more growth from your money. You still are looking at other things to do. Well, at the same time, when you have the chance to get into the TMN before it's had its gain or its increase, I mean, would I rather use the Bitcoin that I bought back when it was just a couple $1,000s, or would I rather have that buying power of nearly $60,000 per Bitcoin today? That's what I'm talking to you about. By acquiring more TMN token now, you're going to increase your buying power for later, how much you can buy in the metals baskets, in the gold, silver, platinum, how you can set aside and preserve and secure the wealth that you've attained through the crypto projects. Okay. Not to mention the fact that these are also, anytime that you refer people, you are going to have an affiliate referral as well. It's 9%. It's just one level on these because there's just there's less volatility. We want people to get 100% of their investment. So there's just the 9% upfront direct commission for everybody that you refer. But you could build an entire, I think about it in terms of that's a better percentage than I've ever had as a real estate agent, right? When I'm selling real estate to people, I don't get a 9% commission. So here we have the chance to move people into a similar strategic asset, something that's truly stable, protects their income. does all of that, and yet the company itself will give you all the information you need. People can just pop in the back office or on the brand new app available on Android now, and they can go ahead and purchase these in the back office. So I just wanted everybody to really have a good sense around just how much opportunity there is here with all these different metals. Now, some of them you can see in the premium basket there. I have only talked about a handful of these to date, and we're going to continue to talk more about them. But let's just think about the future potential. Like, I'm going to grab from that premium basket and talk about indium for a second. For centuries, literally for centuries, how have people gotten into their homes and businesses? And, people lock their doors, right? It's happened for a very long time throughout history. People have used a key and they've locked their doors. It's been metal for centuries, right? I mean, I've seen wooden keys, I've seen different types of keys over the years, but for the most part, it's not been a high-tech situation, okay? But when you think about indium is 100, you might not know what it is, but if you've got a touch screen on your computer, here's my Kindle, I have my phone is sitting over here, all of those have touch screens, so they absolutely have indium contained inside. What if every single place that you've used a key worldwide, all the places where people use a key right now, what if instead they move to a touch screen? Some of you have already seen it. People at their places of work, they have a touch screen. There are different ways that they enter certain areas inside of a building. We've all seen it. Imagine in a world that has 7.5 billion people, how many touch screens over the next decade or two will be implemented, and how much indium it will take for all of that technology moving forward, for all of the different types of touch screens. So all of these, and like they're constantly on the horizon viewing those things. One of the great things about our token and ultimately our stable coin is that, unlike some projects that have talked about tying a stable coin to a single metal, look at the wide variety of metals that we have included that potentially back a stable coin. What does that mean for you? Again, it's that same thing. It takes out the volatility. It also allows us to capitalize on volatility. If one of these takes off and goes crazy and has a huge, tremendous amount of value, they'll be able to acquire more of that and therefore create more stable coin. Part of what makes a stable coin valuable is that people trust it. They trust the stable coin because there are the physical assets there to back it up. We have a little bit of that trust going on in crypto right now, but not total, because people know there's no possible way that Tether could have the US dollars or even have enough fiat to actually back everything they've got within their system. We're building up a system that allows us to acquire these. I mean, they already have been acquiring for the combined 30 years in business. They've been acquiring these metals. So now we have the opportunity to take the cryptocurrency and ascribe the value from all of these metals into that crypto. Why does that make sense for these three companies that already own these metals? Well, right now they just sit there gathering dust, right? They're not out, they're not put to work for the company. The way they can put those to work is by letting us park our assets backed by those precious metals, backed by those rare earth and technology metals. So by having them backed up in a stable coin, the company makes money, and we make money if we're holders of TMN, because now we have transaction fees. So I'm a crypto investor. If I have the option going forward, if 18 months from now I am given the option, and let's say there's a brand new token on the marketplace, a utility token, like, I don't know, maybe TMN, for example. And let's say that that TMN token has now had a 10x gain in the marketplace. Well, I know some principles behind cryptocurrency, and I might want to take my original investment out of that. I might want to move it in and diversify and do something else. So where am I going to put that gain? Well, the place I put my gain while I'm deciding where else I want to go in that market is I put it into a stable coin. Well, I now have a new stable coin on the market that's backed by precious metals, that's backed by rare earth and technology metals, or backed by a declining fiat dollar. What am I going to choose? Without a doubt, that is an absolute no-brainer to me. I'm going to choose them all day long. And when people within the crypto community see the option to choose a metals-backed stable coin, the demand will soar through the roof. And what we have here is the opportunity to be part of that rise and that gain by, within our own ecosystem, participating in the various components, okay? We don't have just crypto. And even within crypto, we have both a utility token and a stable coin coming in the future. Within metals, we have not just precious metals, we also have rare earth metals. And you can see within these baskets a wide variety of all of those things as well. You see what we're doing here? We're bringing diversification within a system, diversification within that system. Not only that, but then we also have our incentive income pool that allows you to set aside what would have been just in US dollars and instead get a monthly return of up to 3% on that as well. So you have your gain growing several different ways. And anytime you put diversification into play, it removes that volatility piece. So what we want to do here is create an educational system. We want to help people understand that we can not only diversify between crypto and crypto strategic assets and fiat dollars like they have been, but even within our system with TMN Global, between the CoinShop products, between the pool, between our utility token and stablecoin, that what we're creating here is diversification within our own system. And that's why we're bringing people in, so that they can do that and make choices that ultimately bring them into true financial freedom, stability, and the opportunity to 100% control their own assets within a decentralized system. Just remember, we want you to acquire a TMN token, but how you choose to use it within these systems will always be completely 100% up to you. So I would like to invite all of you. We have our Work It Out Wednesday today. If you're seeing this live, if you're seeing the replay, we always have Work It Out Wednesday on at the top of the hour after this presentation. So at 2 p.m. Central Time, we will host that. You can bring any questions about the presentation today. Otherwise, this will be recorded and available for everybody to go back and view and get some better understanding. We're so open and hope to transparently answer any questions that you may have as well. And so thank you for joining me for this little half-hour lunch and learn today. Stay tuned. Next Wednesday, we'll have another new topic for you. Thank you, everybody, and have an amazing day.